Wolves, lords of ice and shadow. Long before the first human carved symbols into bone or built the warmth of a fire in a frozen cave, the world already echoed with sound, a chorus of howls rising through the mist. It was the call of the wolf, ancient, mournful, commanding. Across the frost-bitten plains of Eurasia, through pine forests heavy with snow, down to the river valleys of North America, that haunting song marked the presence of one of Earth's most enduring predators, the gray wolf, Canis lupus. For over 400,000 years, this creature has shaped ecosystems, inspired legends, and challenged the human imagination. Born of ice and instinct, the gray wolf is the largest member of the canine family, standing up to 85 centimeters tall and stretching nearly 2 meters from nose to tail. Beneath its thick fur, its body is built for survival. A dense undercoat traps heat close to the skin, while an outer layer of coarse guard hairs deflects snow, rain, and wind. When the Arctic winds scream at 40 below, a wolf can curl into a perfect spiral, tail over snout, conserving every whisper of warmth. Their long, slender legs carry them effortlessly across frozen landscapes. Huge, padded paws act like natural snowshoes, distributing weight across the ice. Between the toes, tough fur prevents frostbite, and special blood vessels regulate temperature to keep paws from freezing. Even their eyes, often amber or ice yellow, are evolutionary masterpieces, capable of detecting subtle movements in near darkness. Their sense of smell can detect prey up to 2 kilometers away and track since days old. Each physical detail tells a story of survival honed over millennia, a design crafted by the brutal fairness of nature. The palette of the wild. Though called gray wolves, these animals are a canvas of color. In the Arctic, wolves were the pure white of snow. In the forests of Canada, their fur may shimmer silver, black, or rust red. In the deserts of Arabia, pale tawny coats blend with the sand. These variations aren't just beauty, they're biology. Wolf fur color often correlates with environmental conditions and even immune system health. For example, black wolves, a mutation from early hybridization with dogs, tend to have stronger resistance to viral infections, an accidental gift from their ancient contact with humans. Wolves also shed seasonally. Thick undercoats fall away each spring like ghostly snow, drifting on the wind as they prepare for the long summer hunt. Families of the frost, the social mind. The beating heart of wolf life is the pack, a society of order, intelligence, and empathy. A typical pack includes an alpha pair, their offspring, and sometimes siblings or unrelated wolves who've joined over time. But hierarchy is not tyranny. Alpha wolves do not rule by violence. They lead through confidence, communication, and care. Within a pack, bonds run deep. Wolves mourn their dead, comfort distressed packmates, and show affection through touch, muzzle licking, play, and nuzzling. They raise pups cooperatively. When a mother gives birth, all members help feed and protect the young. Even the lowest-ranking wolf, often called the omega, plays a vital role, breaking tension through play and maintaining social peace. Communication is an art. Wolves speak through over a dozen vocalizations, howls, growls, yips, whines, and barks, each with its own nuance. A howl can summon distant packmates across 10 miles of tundra, announce territory, or even celebrate a successful hunt. They also converse through body language. A raised tail shows dominance, flattened ears show fear. Raised hackles are the equivalent of shouting "back off." A submissive wolf may roll onto its back, exposing its throat, a gesture of absolute trust. To an outsider, these are just gestures. To a wolf, they are sentences, the grammar of survival. The hunt, symphony of strategy. When wolves hunt, they perform a dance of instinct and intellect. They are not ambushers like big cats, but pursuit hunters, strategists who use endurance and teamwork over brute force. Scouting wolves locate herds of elk, deer, or bison, testing them for weakness. A flick of an ear or a limp in the stride may mark the unlucky target. The chase begins with bursts of speed, followed by relentless pursuit over snow and ice. Wolves can maintain 40 kilometers per hour for several kilometers, outlasting even the strongest prey through sheer stamina. When the pack surrounds its quarry, they don't attack wildly. Each wolf knows its position, flankers, distractors, finishers, a choreography learned through experience and intuition. A single bite to a tendon can cripple, a coordinated assault can topple a moose. Yet success is never guaranteed. Only about 1 in 5 hunts ends in a kill. A kick from an elk can crush a rib. A bison's horn can impale. Wolves risk their lives each time they hunt, not for sport, but for survival. After a kill, they feed according to hierarchy. Alphas first, then subordinates, then pups. But no wolf is left to starve. Even the weakest receives its share. Their code is harsh, yet fair, a reflection of the wilderness itself. Love and continuity. When wolves mate, they form bonds that can last a lifetime. A mated pair will stay together year after year, raising litter after litter, working as equals in the leadership of the pack. A pregnant female carries her pups for around 63 days. She gives birth in a den, often a hollow under tree roots or a natural cave. The newborns, tiny and blind, weigh less than half a kilogram. Yet from these fragile lives will rise the next generation of hunters. At 3 weeks, their blue eyes open. At 6, they begin to play, fighting mock battles and learning to coordinate. By autumn, the yearlings follow their parents on real hunts, learning by imitation. At around 2 years old, many will leave to find mates of their own. The lone wolves that wander mountains and forests, searching for both territory and belonging. Evolution and the dawn of dogs. The gray wolf story is older than civilization, but its legacy lives in our homes. Around 30,000 years ago, some wolves began trailing nomadic hunter-gatherers, scavenging leftover meat. Over generations, the boldest and most tolerant wolves lingered near human fires. Humans, in turn, began to tolerate, even feed, these early candidates. Mutual benefit evolved into companionship. Wolves warned humans of approaching predators and helped track prey. In return, humans provided food and shelter. From this silent alliance came the dog, Canis lupus familiaris, a subspecies born of trust and shared survival. Archaeological finds in Siberia and Germany show humans buried alongside their dogs as early as 14,000 BCE, a partnership so sacred it transcended death itself. Even today, the DNA of every pug, shepherd, and husky carries whispers of that first pact beneath Paleolithic skies. Wolves in myth, legend, and language. Few animals have haunted the human imagination like the wolf. In Norse mythology, Odin was accompanied by Jerry and Freki, the ravenous ones. Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, was prophesied to devour the sun at the end of days. In Rome's founding legend, a she-wolf rescued and suckled the twins Romulus and Remus, giving rise to one of history's greatest empires. In Native American stories, wolves are seen as teachers, wise spirits who guide the living and the dead. The Pawnee believe the first humans learned loyalty from wolves. The Lakota saw them as symbols of endurance and unity. Even our language bears their mark. The word wolf runs through surnames, places, and idioms across dozens of cultures. To be wolfish means hungry, wild, untamed, but also fiercely alive. Conflict and persecution. When humanity settled into villages and domesticated livestock, the relationship with wolves fractured. To early farmers, wolves became thieves. Flocks of sheep and goats were easy prey, and each attack invited retribution. Medieval Europe declared war on the wolf, with bounties, traps, and mass hunts. In France, packs were pursued with fire and steel until the 19th century. In Britain, the last native wolf was killed around the 1680s in Scotland. In North America, systematic extermination campaigns reduced wolf populations to a fraction of their original range by the early 1900s. Stories of man-eating wolves, like the legendary beast of Gavaudan in 18th century France, fueled paranoia. The beast was likely a desperate pack or rabid animal, but folklore turned it into a supernatural monster slain by silver bullet. By the time modern ecology emerged, the wolf had become more myth than animal. Feared, misunderstood, nearly erased. Resurgence and rewilding. Yet wolves endure. From the wilds of Siberia to the mountains of Montana, they are returning, sometimes naturally, sometimes through human aid. In 1995, 14 wolves from Canada were reintroduced into Yellowstone National Park, an event that transformed ecology textbooks. Within years, elk numbers balanced, vegetation recovered, and beavers, birds, and even river patterns changed, a trophic cascade, proving that predators are architects of ecosystems. In Europe, wolves now roam again through Germany, Poland, and France. In Italy and Spain, they thrive in mountain forests once silenced by centuries of persecution. Even the critically endangered red wolf of North Carolina and Mexican wolf of the Sonoran borderlands are slowly clawing their way back from the brink, thanks to breeding programs and legal protection. Still, challenges remain. Livestock conflicts persist. Fear lingers. Illegal hunting continues. But conservationists argue that coexistence is possible through better fencing, compensation programs, and education. Because where wolves return, the land itself seems to breathe again. The science of the soul. Modern studies reveal that wolves are not just instinct-driven carnivores. They are thinkers and feelers. In controlled experiments, wolves outperform many domestic dogs in problem-solving tasks that require reasoning and teamwork. They understand cause and effect, anticipate the actions of others, and can even interpret human gestures when raised around people. Wolves also experience emotions strikingly similar to ours. They grieve, they celebrate, they play. When a pack member dies, others have been observed sitting silently beside the body for hours. When pups survive their first winter, the entire pack may howl in unison, a sound not of warning, but of triumph. It's no wonder that some biologists call wolves minds of the forest. Why wolves matter? Wolves are more than predators. They are keystones of balance. By controlling herbivore numbers, they prevent overgrazing, allowing forests to regenerate and rivers to flow clean. Their presence influences everything from soil fertility to bird populations. A world without wolves is a world of silence, of empty forests and unchecked prey. Their survival is, in a way, our own. Echoes of the wild. When night falls over the tundra and the air is sharp with frost, a wolf lifts its head to the stars and sings. That howl travels across miles of wilderness, over mountains, through trees, into the bones of the earth itself. It is a call older than civilization, a reminder that the wilderness is not gone, only waiting to be heard again. Perhaps, if we listen closely enough, we can still hear the echo of that ancient bond between species. The wolf that became the dog, the hunter that became the companion, the wild heart that still beats beside our own. And as long as that voice still carries across the frozen winds, the story of the wolf, and of us, remains unfinished.